Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Mr. All Day Everyday from Grand Theft Analysis, here to do another review on the Grand Theft reviews for a couple of my subscribers, and especially a new subscriber who suggested a new and formidable Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi review. Shout out to Looking Behind YQU in the Cirque Show, because the Cirque Show did actually want a more retrospect perspective on the whole hero mode. So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys a second Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi review. Bam! Now that's the power clean. Damn, I fucked that up. Here we are with another Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi review. And this time, let's get straight into the presentation. I don't want to skedaddle. Okay, now this is a game that has been developed and published by no other than Bandai for years now. They have been pretty much developing Dragon Ball Z games since Dragon Ball Z Budokai on PS2. Now, you know, the thing about those games, Dragon Ball Z Budokai, the Dragon Ball Z Budokai series, 1 through 3, were pretty much, your standard 2D, 3D type of fighting simulations. Pretty much, you can go ahead and do side steps and stuff like that. And a lot of fans actually liked it that because you did get to play as your favorite character. Super Saiyan actually made a lot of sense. You can actually counter super moves and stuff like that. But the melee combat was so smooth. It was, pretty much you can compare it to Tekken, or you can compare it to Street Fighter, or I mean anything of that nature. Just ultimate fighting games like that in itself. But now alone, they introduced the whole Ultimate Tenkaichi being a combination of Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi. Now, as far as presentation goes, as soon as you load up the Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi game, you automatically notice that the opening cinematic is, pretty much is reanimated. They didn't take an opening from a previous game. I mean, pretty much they do that with every Dragon Ball Z game. So when you get to the main menu, you pretty much get a battle mode. You get your standard story mode. This time we get something new called a hero mode, which I will get to that in a minute. You get your, like I said, you get your capsule house. You get the options menu. You get the customization. You get I don't know if I said battle mode, but you get battle mode. Online tournament, and then you get training mode. So, those are your pretty much standard menus nowadays when it comes to fighting games, and even different kind of games in itself. So, with that being said, I want to jump straight into the hero mode, because a lot of people actually believe that we were going to be able to expand and actually really customize our saying from hero mode to our own perspective. But like I actually thought it was gonna end up, you pretty much get a preset of clothes that from your favorite Z Warriors or your favorite Z Warriors villains. Whereas you just take their clothes and pretty much customize it what character you want to give it, or you can give it preset hairs of characters that's already in a series. Which there are only pretty much two individual hair sets. You have the wild hair and you have the bid hair, which pretty much are your only two hairs that pretty much aren't in the series. But it's a downfall because, when you transform Super Saiyan, your hair stands up. It takes a new form. But it doesn't really capture that Super Saiyan aspect as far as turning Super Saiyan when you have selected the wild hair or you selected the bid hair. So that was highly disappointing with me with the whole thing. Story mode, on top of that, I do appreciate the cutscenes. The cutscenes have all been reanimated. And as you know, for a while, everybody loves Dragon Ball Z. If you don't like Dragon Ball Z, that's perfectly fine. But as far as the Dragon Ball Z fan base goes, everybody pretty much wanted to die. But if they reanimated the entire Dragon Ball Z series with that, pretty much up to date as far as your visuals go for animation, and actually release a series like that, can you say sold out? Because I will stand outside the line on a Black Friday to get those seasons. It is flawless. It's honestly beautiful. The game runs at about, I want to say, 50 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty good. It's not your Call of Duty 60 frames or your Rage 60 frames, but, it pretty much just keeps up with the pace. And that's the presentation of the game. Let's talk about gameplay. Gameplay, on the other hand, was highly a big factor for this Dragon Ball Z game, because as Bandai developers and publisher has, time and time again have come out and said interviews and pretty much discussed that we will be getting the best Dragon Ball Z game fighting simulation to date. Which, in some aspects, it actually takes on that, that role. It takes on that medal of actually achieving this goal. Because what I mean is you do get somewhat fully destructible environments, which honestly are preset, because you do a Kamehameha wave and all of a sudden, you're fighting your opponent over water, and then all of a sudden when you do the Kamehameha wave, you're back on land. That makes no sense. I was clearly over the water when I released it. But they can't get everything right in Dragon Ball Z game, especially how over the top Dragon Ball Z the series, the anime actually is, and fall in the manga as well. So with that said, let me go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about the gameplay. Now with the gameplay, it's not, the melee system is not what you're used to a Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi, Dragon Ball Z Budokai series, whereas up close combat, you went back to the square triangle combo system, whereas in Tenkaichi you pretty much got the button mashers, but at the same time, it added a lot of strategy because you can move around. It was a lot of things that was so great about the Tenkaichi series that these guys, they really attempted to do, but they did not get it. No, they didn't get it. They didn't get it. Now let's say you're trying to attack your opponent. Now your opponent can press down the circle button, and he can guard. He can pretty much move and maneuver away from every attack that you have. Now you only get about 5 swings when pressing square, because square is pretty much your attack meter. Your attack button on your Dragon Ball Z game. So you pretty much can go into a frenzy of attacks, but it really wouldn't do any good because your opponent can honestly hold down circle and pretty much dodge every attack, and then all of a sudden, I don't know why they do it, but pretty much you're left in a stutter where you freeze when trying to hit your opponent, which leaves you wide open because you can't get out of that motion. I don't understand that. So then, honestly, your opponent can pretty much attack you on drive, and then after you land your 4-hit combos, you go into a series of pretty much combos, which you go in the air. But before you can do that, you have to press between square or triangle. But on the Xbox, it would be Y and X. And pretty much what this does is you have to guess which pretty much button is your opponent going to attack. Are they going to press square, which is pretty much your melee? And pretty much if you press triangle, that gets up your spirit gauge, which allows you to do a lot of your super attacks. Now, honestly, that is a fail because it honestly adds no strategy. It adds no strategy to the Dragon Ball Z game at all. Pretty much what it is still a button masher, but it is fun as hell to play, guessing pretty much what your opponent is going to do. Now, with online, there is no spectator mode once again. So maybe in Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi 2, they will get that right because they have confirmed Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi 2 because it actually did sell. It exceeded their expectations of what the game was actually going to sell. So revenue wise, they pretty much banked in what they got. But for 65.39, well 69.69, you definitely want to get that bang for your buck. And Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi does not do that for new people to the series. It's definitely not that kind of fighting game. Now, the verdict is, here on the Grand Theft Reviews, we don't give out scores. We leave that up to you guys. But like I said, this game definitely has a couple of plus. For one, the story mode, the reanimated cutscenes are flawless, but it's not enough to actually purchase the game. The downfalls of this game, hero mode was a bust. It was a big bust because it was hyped up to be something extremely different. People have been wanting it for years, and it was really a letdown and pretty much a waste of money. So with that being said, I can't get a game score, but I honestly want to say it is not worth the 65.69 that you hard-working Americans or any ethnicity that, pretty much, or whatever country you guys fall under, it's pretty much not worth the 65.69. If you guys can catch it in the $20 box, by all means, if you are a true fan, it is definitely a game that you want to get. But at the same time, it's definitely a game you want to wait for the price to go down because you will be returning the game. If I could, I honestly would. But, mine is launched onto my hard drive. So with that said, yes, this has been another review from Mr. All Day Everyday. And like I said, Elder Scrolls Skyrim review will probably be up on Sunday. I will be doing a review for Assassin's Creed Revelation because that is my favorite freaking franchise out right now. I pretty much love the Assassin's Creed series, and they have announced Assassin's Creed Part 3. And if you guys want me to review anything, remember, leave a comment down below because I am reviewing no other than video games, mangas, anime, pretty much TV shows, movies, novels, music, things of those nature. Anything you guys want, we will do it here on the Grand Theft Reviews just for you guys. Alright, if you guys like our video, remember, favorite and thumbs it up, and we appreciate your time for watching our video. Thank you.